Good morning. I'm Mary Winters, the owner of About Senior Solutions, and you're watching Visionary Aging. Why do we do this every single Friday morning? It's because I want you to have resources that will support a high quality of life at any age, and we want you to be connected with some great people, great ideas, and sometimes it's what you don't know. But today is also Life Happens Day, and I urge you to reach out and call a friend that you haven't talked to for a while. Um, we have our wonderful guest who may jump off quickly because she has her dad in the hospital, and we know that that's more important than being here. And we have situations where we lose family and friends, and so that is occurring as well. And it's a hard day, actually. So in any event, we have our friends, um, Melinda and Stephen are off on vacation. Melinda is out in Europe and Steve is out in Ohio. So they're enjoying themselves. But I did get the question from Steve as far as our caregiver question, which is a good one. And I think it's from Lori B. Lori is saying that she's not super happy with the home care agent or the assisted living where her mom is living, and she wanted to know how easy is it to move her, or what kinds of ideas would we have to make her mom's situation better. She didn't say what the situation is, but she said it's a problem. So typically what happens is we would suggest that if we're involved, that we go in and we have a care plan. We set up a care plan with the agency or the organization, and we discuss what the problems are. What are her concerns? What is she seeing? We could pull up licensing and see if they've had similar complaints in the past, or if this is a new situation. Is it related specifically to a staff member that may need some redirecting? But we like to look at the situation currently where they are and see if that's possible to fix or not. And if it is not, then there are other things, processes that we can go through. Certainly looking for another location. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions in regards to something that way. Very, very stressful. And we would be happy to direct you to any kind of support that you need. That's 626-359-0108. We have a really neat guest with us today. Her name is Armine Haven, and she's an art therapist. And so I'm not going to delay any further. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in so we can talk about the fabulous services and studio that she has. And good morning. How are you?
Hi, Mary.
It's really great to see you. I know you had planned on being in a different location. You were going to have some art, but your dad is so important. We want to make sure that you're close to him. And if you need to drop off at any time, absolutely, you go take care of your dad. It's the most important thing. But tell us, what is an art therapist? What do you do?
Okay, so my name is Armine Havan, and I'm a fine artist and certified expressive art facilitator. And I've been working with adults for 25 years, but as a therapist, it's been 10 years that I'm working with adults and kids using art. And this was something that came up to me while I was teaching at the school. And I noticed few things, and I realized that there is deeper connections between art and your mental or your inner child, or whatever it's inside you. And art is a great way to get to that inner child. And especially with adults, I enjoyed more because lately I enjoy more with working with adults because all the experiences and loves and all the life that they have, we are like channeling to those through art and through different tools, finger painting, sculpting, drawing, everything that you can think of. Collage is one of my favorites.
Mm.
So I would like you to ask questions so I can, because I have a lot to say, but I don't know how to organize.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So you have a studio and you have a therapy practice too. So
Yeah.
tell us, kind of who is that different client that goes to one versus the other? Maybe they go to both.
Yes. So at my studio, I see clients, and it's in a way that it's not like a therapy session. That's what's more interesting because when you're in a therapy session, you sit in a chair and you think that you need to start talking about, and sometimes you don't have anything to talk.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why art helps you to understand where you are at that moment, and what is it. And I've noticed that with myself, like when people come to me and they don't know where to start, and and sometimes they have so much to say that an hour wouldn't be even enough. So
Yeah.
I realized that by talking about things makes things more deeper inside you. So but when and then there are things that you go to details by creating that story that might not
Mm-hmm.
be true, or but painting or drawing is the truth. It can't lie. And um, I realized that when I was teaching adults, and we were all drawing the same thing, but when there are 20 adults in a room and we're all drawing the same thing, every person does it differently.
They do.
And in my sessions, I have to make sure that we can quiet that judgmental mind, and that mind that it's scared or fearful. So I have different methods to do that. I like group sessions a lot more, because that way people don't really think that they're in a therapy session. They think that they're in a uh, art class.
So do you do that in your studio or do you go to buildings, to
Yes, I do
organizations
that
and
in
do
my
that?
studio. I also have been working with Didi Hirsch Mental Health Institute for
Mm,
a long time. It's been about 7 years that do see different patients, and this program is a program that has been granted by LA County, and
nice.
people who come and use those services are people who have committed suicide, or they're like deep depression, or they're bipolars, or they're like different, and then they went to hospital, and LA County recommend them to this center because they can't afford to go to therapy. So
Oh, wow.
what we do there, we have a team. So we have a team of psychologists and like therapists and art therapists. And then sometimes those people can't open up because they have traumas, or and art is a great tool. Uh,
Yeah, it feels like if you don't have to look at somebody maybe and you can concentrate on something that you may be painting or drawing, it kind of allows you to have that distance from your inner
ex-
self and that harsh critic and so forth. Um,
exactly.
it's
I don't know if you have ever been to one of those paint and nights.
yes.
So paint and wine. So when you drink wine and you start painting, so what does wine do? Wine really makes you relax and don't judge yourself and just be playful. And I always say that when we stop being playful, that's when depression starts. Uh,
Mm,
and we never have to. We should like, and art creates that opportunity for you to try different things. And when I do visit senior centers too, but
mhm.
I don't talk about therapy. I go there by saying, let's do some art. And every group is different. There are groups that are very open
Uh-huh.
and they want to do meditation. They're very spiritual. They want to like, it's very different. Every group, every person is different. And because I have a lot of experience, I can kind of feel the environment, like what kind of adult
Sure.
I'm working with. And then I arranged a program based on those needs. So like a actual expressive art, I want to just give you a little bit information about what I studied. What my approach is person-centered expressive art therapy.
Yeah, explain just a little bit about person-centered. I think people are hearing more about that. They get confused between that and self-determination and some different things too. So
yeah, so person-centered expressive art is a different approach because we see every individual as a very unique. It's just like your thumb. No one's thumb is the same. When you do a thumbprint, um, everyone is different. So you can't say because this person has these symptoms, so he or she has this, um, like medical doctors. So
sure.
we believe that we do an expressive let's say we draw a painting. And in that painting or there is what is that sound? Is it from
Apparently I have a doctor behind me, so I'll let you speak and I'll mute for a bit.
yeah. So when you draw a tree, like an art therapist might say, okay, in art therapy, a tree means like father, or a sun means like mother, like some symbols. But in expressive art, it says that every tree means different meaning for every person. So you can't like generalize by saying that this means that, this means this. So you need to be really you need to let that person be open and say what the color of red means for that person, because for every person it's different meanings. So that's the uniqueness about this program. And also in expressive art, we do add other um, art tools like writing, dance, or music. We combine that.
Oh, that sounds really neat. So, I'm just thinking about when somebody's really having a hard time because they're going to be critical of themselves as an artist. How do you kind of guide them out of that fear of getting started? Oops. Oh.
But the first session, they're very scared to try. But after the second session, they don't want to leave. But bringing them to the first session, that's the thing. So when they come to the session, I just tell them, just be playful. I give them just colors and just play with colors. Don't even think about what you're doing, because we really we're not thinking about making a perfect painting. We're thinking about the process. The process is how you're feeling right now at this moment. It doesn't mean that we're not planning to paint something beautiful. That's not the goal. And when they feel that way, that they're not forced to do something perfect, because we have learned from childhood that we always have to do something and have a goal and some. But in art, it's exactly the opposite, and I've experienced that myself. Whenever I have a plan to paint something, it doesn't work. But when I'm in front of the canvas, I just put this first color by that day, how will I feel? Let's say it's blue. And then when I start the process by itself tells me what's the next step. So when you're open, um, that the next step comes by itself.
Nice. Yeah. So then people feel secure and they have that freedom to.
There is no one to judge you.
Yeah.
There's no one here. There is no competition. There is no one to judge you. Just think about you're trying a new food.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So how long are people allowed to be in therapy programs with art therapy?
So in the Didi Hirsch that I at DigiHertz that we have different groups and I work with them. It starts with 6 months, and then they they really like it and they want to be there more. But after 6 months, I try to give them all the tools that they can do that by themselves. So my goal is that introducing them with all the materials, with different methods, so they can do it at home or anywhere they want. So I don't want them to be attached to me in a way that you have to see the therapist when you have a. So I want them to I want to give them the tools to whenever they feel sad or they or let's say right now in your case whenever you feel sad you can just have a paper in front of you and put your emotions, and that doesn't need to be with color or whatever you have in your hands. It can be just doodling with pencil. By doing that you just disconnect from that problem and you just go inside you and it's like changing the channel for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah, that's a great example. That's
yeah,
a great explanation. Just changing the channel. Really nice.
yeah,
Yeah. And then you have a studio as well.
yeah.
So what are the different things that you do in your studio from your therapy?
So at my studio, it's where I create art and I teach there too. I love teaching. So I've been a fine artist for 30 years. And since the beginning, I've always taught because I love teaching. I love helping people. And I get energized by seeing kids or adults creating something and they don't expect to do it, but they do it. And then after a year, seeing the progress, it's so exciting for me. Even though I've done website designing, I've been in uh, graphic design, I've been doing interior design, I've done so many different, but none of them gave me that satisfaction when you feel like you're helping someone. And
You
you're
know,
watching them. I'm sure you know what I'm saying because you're in that field.
but I think that's kind of what life is about, is giving to others. And I think that's how we make our connection with other human beings, is to be able to serve and to give to someone else. It's a I don't want to say a special person, but it's a very selfish person that thinks that we're just here to take care of ourselves and it's just about us. And I think I think just stopping and thinking about your mood and what you might do for another person can really help elevate us. And yes, the work that we do personally does make me feel really good. It sounds like it makes you feel very good as well when you can really hone in on something that's important or some hidden treasure in somebody's life that they can kind of bring to fruition. It's a really neat thing to be able to guide or teach or mentor, for sure.
Yes, yes, absolutely. One of my exciting like experiences that I've had that I would love to share. I have few, but 2 years ago, before this COVID, we we did few programs with public. So I was at we did it at the Descanso Garden, and I have done it at the library, Glendale Library. We had like about 60 participants and we did art therapy. So we started with meditation and then watercolor, and that big group that and the energy that I got that day from the group and watching people create those images. So what I do, um, I don't know. I want to explain you a little bit of
Sure.
how the session is. So
Yes.
sometimes when the group is ready, we start with a little meditation, and meditation helps you just disconnect and connect from with your heart. And and you can create and be creative when you don't have that plan in your mind. When you can create when you're now. And I don't believe when some people say I don't have talent or this or that, because I have witnessed people who can't even draw, they create beautiful images. So there is like a connection between you and your source or your God, or like between you
Yes.
and your own ability to create. So I
Yes.
totally believe in that. So when we do the meditation and they're calm and they feel like they're trusted and it's a trust
Safe.
environment, safe environment, then you have some images. Sometimes people need some ideas, you know. So I do provide some images, and I pick those based on my experience. I know like some different pictures, and some people pick those, and then they pick that image that they want to create, and I just give a general starting point to everyone. Okay, let's start like this after the meditation, and then they start, and you can't believe how I witnessed that at the beginning they make fun of themselves. At the beginning they say I don't, and I like that, you know, because it's the playfulness. They make fun of each other, then they say, "Is this is a competition? Are we going to do this?" And then a quiet time comes when they are all quiet and they're creating, and they're
They're concentrating.
yes. And I see all the steps of therapy. So at the beginning, those talkative part, and then you connect to your inside, and you really see that you have the ability to heal yourself.
Mm.
And that's my goal, to show them that everyone has the ability to heal themselves. We have the power. We just have to connect with that.
It's so interesting, RNA. I mean, and I think you're absolutely right. In so many different components or facets of our being, we have a lot of control. And it's really neat to hear you emphasize that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Um, yeah. So then they start drawing, and then they just get surprised. Oh my God, what did I do? And the funny thing is that everyone's drawing talk to them. And I tell them, look at your drawing, look at your painting, and see what you see there. And the first word that comes to you, write it down. And then in the group sessions, um, we share that. And then others, we ask others to look at our art and say, what do they think and what do they see? Because even though we're using a picture, but it's you that you created. Even
Yeah.
if you copy the best painting, even if you're trying, when I want to try to paint my own painting, because it's a different day, it's a different time, it's not the same. It can't be the same unless it's photography. So
Oh, yeah.
shows the uniqueness and that change of your emotions. Right now, at this time, you're not the same as like you were an hour ago, right? Um,
It's true. No, it's
at
true.
the same time,
Share one of the success stories, some
yeah,
situation where you just really saw one of your patients or a participant
yes.
really shine.
So one of the experiences was that we decided to go to a park and create art at the park, and that's really nice because walking in the nature is one of the things that you can connect with yourself, and just it's very therapeutical. So we walked in a park and we picked some leaves or flowers, and then we sat down. And that day I told them, let's make a postcard for someone you love. So don't decide. Some of you might decide, but some of you just make the postcard and then think who are you gonna give this card to? So this lady um, made the card. She drew stuff. She did some drawing. I don't exactly remember what she drew. I wish I had a picture of it. But then she was like started. She started crying, and I asked her, "Oh, what happened? What's wrong with you?" And she said, "You know what? I haven't been talking to my sister for years.
Oh,
I after doing this and what we did, it reminded me of our childhood together, and felt like I miss her so much. I miss her so much, and I really decided that. And then I told her to write a letter to her in this card. And she wrote a very, very emotional letter, and
Mm.
she realized that she needs to contact her. And
Oh,
then spoke to each other, and that combination of the walk and the art reminded her. And we're not expecting that, right? We weren't thinking that, none of us were thinking that. I'm sure she wasn't even thinking about her sister, but everything reminded. That was like one of my best stories. And also, there is another thing that we did was that we created. We have those masks that they sell, like
mhm.
in the blank mask. So I asked the clients or the I don't know what to call them. I told them, so after the meditation, I told them, okay, think about this mask, the outside, how you look right now, and the inside is how you really look, how you really see yourself. Who do you think you really are? Because we wear these different masks every day.
Yes.
So that in that session, I did this, like one of my, I've done it so many times, but my success story was with actually a very successful therapist, known therapist. She told me that this really changed my life. And
Wow. Wow.
the impression that she got, because we did collage. So collage is really interesting because you pick pictures that speak to you at that time.
Exactly.
Tomorrow you might not take the same pictures. That's why I really love collage. When some people, when you don't know what to do, or you don't know what's going on with you, just open a magazine, look at some pictures, see what is calling you. You just pick that picture, and then you do a collage with that. After the collage, when you look at your collage, it speaks with you.
Mm.
And that happens to her with the inside. The outside, she made it so pretty, so perfect, but the
Yeah.
inside is really what's going on in your heart. And she was saying that this is like amazing. I couldn't believe that that's what I'm gonna uh, find out about myself. She's a very, very known therapist. So
That's really wonderful. That's so neat that it could touch her on a level and that she wasn't interested in separating herself from the benefit because of her level as a therapist. It's
yes.
really phenomenal. Um, Armine, why don't you share how people can get a hold of you? We have it scrolling, but in case somebody's only listening or reading the blog after, why don't you share how people get a hold of you?
The best way to contact me is my phone number, 818, and also my website. There is a contact link that you can contact me, and my email address. And you can stop by at my studio. It's on Montrose, on Honolulu. Few,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
few blocks away from Trader Joe's. And it's a really cute shopping center. I've had this space for 10 years. I'm so
Oh,
happy.
wow. Okay. Well, I feel like I want to stop by and have some fun and get creative with you. That sounds wonderful. We're going to go ahead and we'll wrap up. If you are able to come back in just a couple minutes, I'm just going to share a couple little things and we'll have you come back on at the very end and say goodbye. And um, we'll wish everybody a great weekend. So thank you so much for coming on. So valuable, so important too.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in a few. Yeah, just I love the idea of art therapy. I think it's such a benefit to so many people, and many of us do not know where to find one or that they existed. So I'm so glad that Armine joined us today. Just really quickly, I thought we'd go ahead and celebrate somebody's 100th birthday because it's worth it. And it is the 100th birthday of Hobson Rodenbaugh. He was enlisted in the Army in 1942, and he went through electronics school, worked in, when he was in the military, he was in the Pacific. He married and had a family, and we are told through the commissioner out there that it's a great honor to recognize Mr. Radma on his momentous birthday. We are indebted to him for his service to our country and applauded him for all the commitments to his community and to his friends. And he's been a mentor to very, very many people. So his name also, he also, instead of Hobson, he also goes by Hobby. And he looks like a very, very interesting man who has a lot of spirit and energy. So congratulations on your 100th birthday and many, many more. Let's go back. We're going to really briefly just pull up the perk. And today is National Kiss and Makeup Day. And honestly, with everything that's going on and things changing around us so quickly, life is so precious. We're losing a dear friend. It's so important just to reach out to the people that you love and leave a little text or leave a little well wish, or go see them personally, or just give them a call. I think we've gotten moved so far away from what's important and valuable in regards to our relationships, and our world has shrunk down so small. And just reach out to somebody you haven't talked to since before COVID, and just tell them that you're thinking of them. Just really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and we'll bring Armine back in and just say goodbye. And let's see, that perk pun is kind of fun too. It says, "Don't kiss a bird, don't kiss birds, or you may get an unsweetable disease." An unsweetable disease. Okay. So in any event, you can call our office and we can give you a copy of this perk for free. Contact Ginny at About Senior Solutions and we'll get that off to you. You can send it off to your friends. It's super fun too. We also have the word search on the back so that you can have a little fun teasing your brain a little bit. So let's say goodbye to our friend Armine. And Armine, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate what you do, and that you would share that that hope and that support and therapy that you do for others. So thank you so much for the work that you do. I really appreciate it. I really want to come by and see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I love your energy and I love what you do. I think it was your energy that let me be so open and comfortable. Thank you so much for being doing what you do. And I hope you feel better after this.
Yeah, well, for sure. And blessings, and I hope your dad has a full recovery, and I know he will, and prayers and wishes for him. So everyone, you have a great weekend, and we will connect with you next week. And like I said, just reach out to somebody you haven't talked to for a while. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.